Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Well, this is the first time this has happened. It's the Frank Skinner Show podcast, and it's Gareth Richards talking. But don't worry, Frank Skinner is here.
Yes.
Why didn't you do us a Saturday morning?
Saturday morning. That's how you do it. I'm going to do it again. Saturday morning. Okay. People will think, surely that's Gareth doing that. That's him doing it.
Saying I talk like this. We've got an email, a lovely email from Andy Robinson. I had a gig with Andy Robinson this week. I don't think it's the same one.
Oh, he's from Birmingham, isn't he, Andy Robinson?
He said he liked the show.
Did you really?
Yeah. So he listens and thinks it's really good.
Thanks, Andy.
Have you sent this in yourself, just so you can say that?
Maybe.
I was leaving my church. I don't own a church, but I go to church on Sunday mornings, Catholic church. And as I was leaving, the priest stands and shakes hands outside. And as I went, he shook my hand and said, I'm loving the Absolute Show on Saturday morning.
He didn't.
Oh, wow.
He did, yeah. I'm taking that as a blessing.
Listens to the show.
Well, he's part of he's in the priesthood, so he's talking for God.
Yeah. So God likes the show.
Yeah. I think he does.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to know he's an early riser as well, the priest.
Well, I thought you meant God. I'd say God's a very bad sleeper, I imagine.
He's so lazy.
Well, I don't know about that.
Right, read the email.
Andy Robinson says...
We're all becoming each other this morning. You started going, oh. Gareth thought... Anyway.
It says, may I just say that your midweek podcast has brightened up my midweek. The tortoise breath story made me guffaw out loud. Luckily, I work in a laboratory alone, which means I have kept my dignity intact. Regards, Andy Robinson. So
there's a few things here.
Right.
Can one guffaw internally?
Right.
No, so
when he says guffaw
out loud, that's a tautology, is what you're saying.
I think it's a tortoiseology.
He's alone in the lab.
He's alone in the lab, yeah.
Doesn't the Monster Mash begin like that?
I
was working in the lab late one night.
Yeah, but presumably then he's a sort of research scientist character.
Oh, I like the sound of him.
But I mean, the idea of a researcher is sitting in there listening to podcasts in the lab. It makes me realise, we don't have cures for so many of the major illnesses. I mean, you've got to get your priorities right.
I see Andy with a bubbling purple test tube.
Oh, calm down.
Yes, I do as well.
And maybe Gareth, hand with some hair.
Yes.
On it.
Yes. I think you're right. And relax. Yes, well, it's lovely to hear from him now. I should say, he's referring... We do another podcast. We've just started doing another podcast. Yeah. So this goes out on Saturdays, and then people listen to it through the week. But we release another one on Wednesday mornings. So it's a sort of a topper-upper. Yes. Which I love. And we've exposed all sorts of big news stories on there. Like that Giacometti sculpture that was sold. Mm-hmm. Apparently they got it home and it was dropped on the way into the house, and Peter Crouch was in it. Yeah.
Like inside of it?
Yeah, he was inside, just slumbering. I noticed there was 2 nostril holes. I didn't think anything of it. But no, it was a Crouch carrier.
Oh, God.
As it turned out. What?
Oh.
So anyway, we did the show today. Sean Lott was our guest.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Jenkins came in and sang,
she didn't.
Sang Anarchy in the UK.
You wouldn't have allowed her in the building.
No,
she gives you the creeps.
I find her very frightening. So she's an attractive woman, but one imagines that she liaises with Lucifer. I could be wrong about that, but I find that... I do find her scary, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure she's a lovely person. But if I was in the same room as her, I'd be absolutely petrified.
That would be a good title for her autobiography, though, Frank. Liaisons with Lucifer.
By Catherine Jenkins.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes. So,
beautiful face, shark eyes.
She was in, and
we had
she wasn't in.
We had Bill Clinton live on the telephone.
Come in. We didn't have Bill Clinton.
I massaged his heart a bit back because he had a little bit of an episode.
Oh, he's all right now.
He's all right. John and Tony Terry came on.
John and Tony Terrier. Yeah.
They've gone ever so well with them now. They're more in love than ever.
But I don't know about you, but
Beautiful.
that smell of ombre solaire is lingering with me. It's on my chest.
They were trying to have a nice, quiet holiday, and then their photos were taken.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
annoying, isn't it?
you know, they probably don't even know that. They won't know till they, you know, they'll get a text from someone. And imagine the anxiety.
People taking photos of us, me here with my top off, my beautiful kissing my wife, the kids on the end of the sun lounges, like you have them all sat together like a happy family.
It's lovely.
People taking their photos. They must be fuming.
And if the text does go, there'll be a mad race for JT's phone. Come here with that. Get off it. Leave it, damn it. Come here. That's what'll happen. Anyway, look,
Why
we
is
can't...
Ashley Cole sending me photos of himself?
I wish he'd stop doing that. Asher, as I call him. Coley. Anyway, look, we can't... But these people have got other things to do other than just listen to us messing about. Well, actually, they haven't.
Podcast.
They wouldn't be doing this in the first... So here cometh the podcast.
Absolute
Radio.
Good morning to our regular listeners and any new ones who might have joined us. That's what they say in the Catholic Church. They say good morning to everyone. If there's any non-Catholics in, welcome anyway. They say they don't mean it. They say it. This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth.
Saturday morning!
That was Gareth. We don't have anything with Emily speaking.
No.
But hold on, I think this might be you, is it?
That's in my little milk float that I drive around town.
So, yeah. Oh, I'd love a milk float to drive. They do
That's
say...
my dream car, Frank.
Well, somewhat... What?
A milk float. I love it. A customised milk float, pink. That's what I want. Will you buy it for me? Thank you.
Do you remember that old Les Dawson joke? He said, I remember when I first saw my... You'll know what's coming now. He said, when I first saw my wife, something electric passed between us. It was a milk float. It's marvellous. You could use that today in your Valentine's Day banter. I heard that Prince Charles...
Yeah.
He used to go out into London on a milk float with like an armed guard, and Prince Charles would wear a flat cap, overcoat, muffler. Yeah, because he wanted to see ordinary people that weren't basically either dancing or giving his girlfriend flowers. So he used to sit with like a guard, and they used to drive round. And he used to say, "Oh God, look at those funny." Like people like going to work and stuff. What's all that about? He used to say.
I can't see him on the milk float.
Going to work? What's all that about?
Prince Charles's stand-up. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So that was. I've revealed that in my throat now. You see, that's what I've done. Hurt my throat.
Have you both bought Valentine's presents for your girlfriend?
Well, I couldn't possibly answer that. I bought one for Gareth's wife. But that's something I think best kept quiet. I'm not prepared to answer. Have you, Gareth? Are you not prepared? Is it a secret?
It is a secret, but yes. But Laura sent a card to Absolute.
Did she?
Yeah, and it was supposed to be.
What, she's having an affair with Absolute Radio.
She sent it to Neil Francis.
No, it was to me.
Oh.
But I saw.
Does she not know your home address? Are you estranged? Are you telling me you're estranged?
I've been sending text messages on my pay-as-you-go mobile phone to glamour models.
Okay.
I haven't really.
I don't know, but I felt you were taking us on a journey then I didn't want to go on, but I went with you anyway. That's what trust is all about. Well, I have a girlfriend, as you may know, who... she's called Kath. People who listen will know that I mention her case. Kath has a habit of saying things not quite correctly.
Yeah,
so she
I'm familiar with this.
Yes, she says old adages and proverbs. But she once said to me, you know what they say, Jack would eat no sprat. And this week she was on about something she'd been to. She said, it was like pulling blood. Which, if you think, would be incredibly difficult, unless it was in canisters of some kind. But my favourite, she was talking about someone she'd spoken to. She sort of said to him, and like she'd confronted someone about something. She said, you should have seen him. He was like a fish in headlights. And she's not joking as well. That's what I don't understand about it. I'm just trying to explain what, the nature of our love. And also, I walked into work with her this week, and... she looked proper cold. She always wears a scarf. She wasn't wearing a scarf. It was a freezing cold morning. I said, why aren't you wearing a scarf? Have you lost it? She said, no. She said, I've got these spots on my neck. I'm trying to freeze them out. That's not medically possible, is it?
Unless it's like verrucas.
I don't
So you
know.
freeze them
Can you
with
get
liquid nitrogen, don't
Can you get verrucas on your neck? Besides, it wasn't.
Oh, this
it
is a nice Valentine's topic.
Yes. I don't... Yes, also, it wasn't so cold as, like, liquid nitrogen cold.
No,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't have
imagine
thought so.
the walk to work to liquid nitrogen. It'd be like the beginning of a Uriah Heep gig. Those of you who remember Uriah Heep, I think you should be tuning into Absolute Classic Rock. You're on the wrong thing if you're waiting for... London! Which is... that's my impression of Absolute Classic Rock, if you've never heard it.
Absolute Radio.
Okay, so that was... so we were talking about Valentine's Day
Oh, yeah.
things. And...
I've got a little quiz for you boys, actually.
oh, yeah.
Well, apparently they did a survey and 6 out of 10 British men hardly know anything, I mean in terms of vital information about their partners.
Right.
So I've got a couple of key questions that I'd like to put to you both to see how well you fare. I should say Aldo Zilli, the chef, who's a friend of the show, did this quiz in the paper, and he said his girlfriend was a size 28 dress size. So I hope you both do better than that. Okay?
I suppose if you live with a chef, though, that's always a temptation, isn't it? You're going to think, I'll have a bit more of that. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen Aldo Zilli's wife, and she's quite...
Oh, she's very svelte.
Oh, he's silly. Aldo
Silly,
Silly.
silly.
That's what I call him. Now, Aldo's got a cafe around the corner, which we often go to after the show.
Yeah, we do.
He's our mate.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't think he's his wife's mate this morning. Size 28.
No, ask me anything. I know address, phone
Okay.
number, whatever you want. Name.
Not address.
Yeah,
Surname.
Well, I think we should have given your wife the quiz in if she has to send you your Valentine's to your work address.
No, she was doing it as a surprise, but when I was packing up the pram, she'd left an envelope in
Packing
it.
up the pram, are you a rag and bone man on the side? They're not paying him enough at
I
Absolute.
do a little bit of rag and bone work.
We're going to start calling it Absolute. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, don't put off the inevitable. I'm going to ask you the questions
Okay.
now. Frank Skinner,
Yes.
could you please tell me Kathy Mason's bra size?
That's a bit personal, isn't it? for
I
on
want the
air?
information.
Yes, it's very personal information. I don't think we should have to give that sort of thing.
No, okay, 32E.
Okay.
That stopped the clocks all over Britain. Blokes going, "Arr!" No wonder he's always laughing, eh? No wonder he's always laughing. They're saying to each other,
I don't think we should ask Laura's now, because then it will just become some
oh,
horrible
hold on, how
comparison.
come my girlfriend
Okay.
gets the...
We'll do
Well, the thing is that Laura's had a baby,
Laura dress size,
and it
please.
fluctuates.
Laura dress.
fluctuates.
Dress size 10.
Oh, Kath dress size?
I'm going to go low. I find going low is the... I'd say 8.
Oh, I'd go 6 for Kath, but there you go.
Oh, well, now you've see what you've done. You've trumped me now. I'm walking and she'll go, 8! Go on.
Favourite perfume for Kath?
No, she doesn't. She never, ever wears perfume. Ever.
That's not what she told John Terry. Okay, Gareth.
In fact, when I first met her, she used to smell of old houses.
How's
Yeah, well, she was a vegan, and she only ate vegetables and rice. And if you do that, eventually you start to smell. And you remember derelict houses? You know, places you used to get to lose your virginity in the 70s. What? Just me? Well, those houses smelled that musty, damp smell of rotting masonry. Well, that's what she smelled like.
That's Calvin Klein obsession.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Jean-Paul Gaultier's old houses. What would that be? Maison de old.
Old.
Okay.
Yeah, it's old in French.
Go on, give us another one.
Okay, shoe size. Oh.
I'd say 5.5. I'm going to go half sizes. That's how bold I've got.
Yeah,
Gareth?
4 or 5.
4 or 5?
4 or 5.
What, one on one and one on the other?
5.
Is there a club? Is there a club involved? You're telling me there's a club? The one shoe she has to get on prescription.
It's a little bit built up, but nothing.
That's
that
all
you'd
right,
notice.
yeah.
You wouldn't notice.
It's so built up, you can only drive at 30 miles an hour when you go past it.
And I would also like to know natural hair colour, please.
I'd say brunette, if that's a colour.
Okay. Gareth?
Yeah, sort of brownie, ready brownie, natural.
Have you met your wife? Did you just need a passport? Is that what happened?
Frank Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Our guest this morning is Sean Locke.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, he's funny.
He's
Don't worry
good.
about that.
Frank, we've had a text in which I want to read out, which is to do with, your girlfriend mixing up her proverbs.
Yes.
Well, someone else, Simon Taylor, says his best friend has a similar problem with his girlfriend. She often mixes up proverbs. And one day she'd had enough and she turned around to him and said, "Stop winding me up like that. You're like that boy who shouted fox." I like the sound of her.
I'm loving it. They should meet.
Yeah.
So we thought, I'll tell you what we thought we'd do. We thought we'd have a kind of a Valentine's weekend sort of phone-in-y thing. And do you remember they used to be able to get those things that says love is and then ... And it used to say what love is. It used to have very sweet things like love is like sharing a bag of chips together and stuff
And it
like
was
that.
two little sort of semi-naked cartoon characters.
Yes, I never liked that element of it.
One had a slightly 70s Lego man hairdo.
I remember I was on This Morning once and they sprung it on me and they said, so for you, Frank, if you had to complete a love is, what would you be? What would yours be? And I said, love is the only four-letter word I don't use during sex. And do you know...
Oh, how did that go down in the studio?
It didn't go that well. I think it might have been Anne and Nick at the time. Did Anne and Nick ever do This Morning? Rings a bell. Remember Anne and Nick? Remember Anne Diamond?
Yeah.
Enormous great horse behind she had. I once walked down a corridor behind her. And, yes... You could lure her in with sugar lumps.
Frank, you've got to apologise.
If you're listening, Anne, she won't be listening. Well, she should be opening a supermarket this time of a Saturday morning. With a crowbar.
Frank!
Sorry, okay. I used to really fancy Anne Diamond.
She's sitting at home crying into her Jaffa cakes
She
now.
is not. She's sitting at home. She's probably still asleep.
Leave those Jaffa
Standing
cakes
up,
alone.
obviously.
Frank!
She's just got the nose bag on for breakfast. If you're listening, Anne. Okay. What was the question? Oh yeah. So love is. Yeah.
Love is.
So we thought we'd ask you, and I know it's quite a tricky one, but we've got some quite clever. We've got some quite clever listeners, I think.
Oh yeah.
And so, what do you think? What love is? ... How would you complete it? Keep it relatively, I mean, it has to be stuff we can read out. Nothing involving rehypnol. And no swearing. But have a go, and if not, we'll give you an easier phone in like they have on, Capital or something, where we'll say things like, what's the third day of the week? I mean, come on, make an effort.
Maybe we should have, like, different levels of phone-in for different, like, sets. You know how you have sets at school? So you have top set, and then
like
hard
streams.
We didn't have that at our school.
A remedial.
There was one small room that we sat in.
They
with
had
our gas
72
masks.
children in the class in his school.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Some of them we just didn't even know. They just came in for shelter. But they used to smell of old houses as well, probably because they lived in them. Okay, yes, well, we should...
Frank Skinner's school days. A novel
Yes.
by Beryl Bainbridge.
That would be good, Frank Skinner. I might do a little excerpt from that every week. Okay. You're holding a sheet of paper, Gareth.
Yeah, I've got an email. An email? Yeah, an
You
email.
got a hard copy of an email. That's what you've
Printed it
got.
out.
A hard copy.
Hard copy. I love Emily.
Yeah,
so I'll read
listen
this
to the
email.
email. Yeah.
Emily, I love Emily and her voice.
Aw.
Will Emily... This is from Liz.
See, I love Emily, but not her voice.
Oh, be quiet.
Okay, carry on.
Lots of men usually say text in and say they like Emily's voice, but this is from a lady.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
nowadays.
live and let live, I say.
Will Emily take me under her wing and teach me how to be single and fabulous in hopes of finding a new man? Please, 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 please. A lot of pleases. She does 5 pleases at a time, with the first please having a capital P, and then she's repeated it.
Okay.
Well, Liz, I like the sound of you.
A capital plea, isn't that what Ronnie Big had? And she wants Emily to take her under her bingo wings.
Yeah.
She hasn't
Well, there'll be
got
plenty of
bingo
shelter. There'll be
wings.
plenty of shelter under. Who
How
do you mean
dare
she?
you?
It would be your bingo wings. Have I brought up the bingo wings? Oh,
Okay,
no.
Liz, I think you sound quite fabulous anyway. You don't really need me to tell you how to be single and fabulous, but you don't need to worry about getting a man, Liz. What you need to do...
Listen to the bitterness in that.
Can you just allow me to speak to Liz?
She's crying as she speaks.
Crying because I have to be with you in here. OK, so, Liz, what you have to do is treat yourself like an exclusive nightclub or restaurant. So, like, you're the Ivy, Liz, that's what you're like. And you're only going to let a very certain type of clientele in.
Yeah, they have to be on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want riffraff who are going to spill drinks. And
No one in trainers.
No, exactly. And that's how you have to do it, and you hold out for the A-list. That's what you do, Liz. So good luck, you deserve the best.
Should she have a special section cornered off for, like, a VIP area?
Absolutely!
Well, she's going to have to purchase a velvet rope.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a text from Samantha. She says, love is not having to remind my boyfriend for the millionth time that I support Arsenal, not Man United. He's American and didn't realise there was more than one team in England. How would it work if there was only one team?
Well, that's basically what it's been like for Man United for a very long time.
Love is an anagram of vole, we have, which I really like.
That is true. I like it when they get a bit romantic with it.
Neil from Wilt says, love is the only word Hallmark's CEO has for the 14th of Feb. Wake up, the lot of you.
Oh!
And that's the way it is.
Hallmark...
He's suggesting that the CEO of Hallmark loves 14th of Feb because he's invented it to take people's money.
Oh, I see.
That's what he suggested.
I did think that yesterday when I was... I went past a shop where there were many sort of Valentine's things, and I thought, oh, we're being had here. I thought that. But I don't, who cares? What else are we going to spend it on? That's this week's phone-in. Food, some might say, but who cares what they think? The greedy devils. Yeah, you all right? You look a bit fatigued.
We've had a bit of a week this week with our
our
little boy Ethan. He hasn't been sleeping very well.
Anyway, this is the darker side of love, ladies and gentlemen. The screaming child.
This is the I can't think of the
See,
word.
that's it.
He's had no sleep.
I can't cope with no sleep. Basically, he didn't sleep on, I think, Thursday night, Wednesday night. I think Wednesday night we had the worst night we've had so far with our little bundle of joy, Ethan. He's waking up very early in the morning.
Oh, yeah. How early?
At like 3 o'clock for several times.
That's not even the morning, really. No. That's the night still.
Yeah. And,
do you not... I always thought they should have baby alarms with a mute button.
Right. So you just press their button and
that's it, yeah.
Just shut the door.
We don't have to shut the door. Is there a door? No, I think that... aren't you supposed to? If you get them up when they cry, then they'll be spoiled for the rest of their life and think every time they cry that people will do something for them.
Yeah, so basically,
like
I think we've spoilt him already.
Oh, you've spoiled him.
You have to do controlled crying, don't you?
Yeah, no, that's not... We haven't done that, so he's ruined.
It's ruined now.
We've what do you do? There's no reset button.
So who gets...
There's no way you can't undo.
No.
Can't get a new one. Stuck with it now.
Okay.
We've ruined it.
You could take the voice box out. No, maybe not. I think you can do that. I don't know. Someone will send in an email explaining. Tim Booth apparently was the lead singer with James. Somebody sent that in. You ask anything on him. Somebody out there knows.
Oh, they've all got answers.
Yeah, there's probably a good way of stopping babies from crying, which are nice. The old whiskey on the dummy kind of thing.
Well, Emily's mum, when she suggested alcohol.
Did she?
Yeah, that Laura drinks.
Tells you a lot about my childhood.
Yeah. She suggested the same to me for moving house, the problems of moving house. I mean, I think it's a bit of a cure-all. She's like one of these people that used to go around selling snake oil.
She suggested that when I said I can't really live with myself, so she suggested alcohol.
Yeah.
We're a showbiz family, that's how we deal with things. What's wrong with you people, honestly?
So who gets up when Ethan
Well, Laura
cries?
usually gets up, but the thing is, she does it, as much as... but then, when she gets to the end of her tether, then
she
she
don't
wakes...
keep her on a tether.
Yes.
Oh, what does she wander off?
Yeah, she wanders off, otherwise.
I should say that Gareth's wife is 81.
She looks good for it, though.
Yeah, she does.
But then when she's had enough and she's angry and doesn't know what to do, she wakes me up, which is a bad, that she should have...
How come you haven't woken up if the baby's screaming the house down?
I just sleep through it all. I can just sleep through everything. But the thing is also, when I'm asleep, I can so Laura explained to me, right, you need to get up, you need to give him his cup's on the side, don't cuddle him, just sit him up in the thing. And
brilliant domestic drama that was.
It's like EastEnders.
It was like it. Boom, 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 boom.
Are you? And she says, "Can you hear me?" And I can go, "Yeah." And go, "You awake? Are you listening to this? You taking this in?" Yeah. And I can go, "Yes," while being asleep.
Well, I've noticed that on the show.
And it's bad. So I went in, and she told me the cup was somewhere, but I couldn't find the cup. He was screaming and screaming. I couldn't find the cup. I said, "Where's the cup?" She said, "It's on the nappy bin. I told you where it was."
Oh dear.
Oh, she doesn't talk like that, does she?
She does at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Nightmare. So I'm going to when I cry, often it's not from seeing the plight of people in terrible parts of the world where things are happening. It's usually self-pity.
Okay.
And being overtired.
Well, I think a man's got to be a specialist.
Yeah. And I cried that night.
You cried as well?
I cried.
So did Ethan get up to get your bottle?
He did not.
You actually physically cried?
I cried myself back to sleep.
Did you? People that can actually do that, they cry.
Yeah.
You cried yourself.
Yeah,
to
Laura
sleep.
said, "Oh, I'll feed him. So because that's what he wants. He wants
And you
to
went...
be fed." And so I'm in the bed next to her, but she was so angry. We talked about it in the morning, but I said I cried last night, and she said, "Yeah, I know. I was just so angry I couldn't."
So she knew you were crying next to her.
She let you cry.
See, if I ever cry, I let Kath. No, I do dog crying. And then they know. You see, that's the secret. Have you considered holding up a series of sheep in front of your child when he can't sleep?
We've tried everything.
I wonder if anyone's actually ever tried counting sheep. I can't believe...
Oh, I do it all the time.
Do you?
I do genuinely count sheep.
You don't?
I do. It does work.
You can't work.
You actually
Yes.
count sheep?
Yeah. I imagine them jumping over a little fence. It does work, honestly.
Can't work, or shepherds would always be asleep. They'd be like, how many sheep have I got?
No, I think they
One,
wear
two.
they wear blindfolds when they need to be especially alert.
Absolute Radio.
I'm going away. I'm going to be locked away.
What's
Are you?
happening? Are you ill? What's happening?
Yes, I'm
I'm
ill.
going away. I'm not going to be with you anymore.
So, yeah.
But I shall send another.
He's going to the Meadows Clinic in Arizona.
Well, I'm not going there again. I know I'm doing a TV show this week called The Bubble. When it's on Friday night, but the idea is you have to be locked away for 4 days, away from the news, so that then when they get you on the TV show, they can ask you about the week's news and they can make some things up and you have to guess which is a real news story and which is a phony news story. Oh, it's very clever.
So no mobile phone or anything?
No mobile phone, no internet, no television, nothing. And there's 3 of us. There's me and there's Victoria Corrin. Do you know her?
Oh yeah, she's a journalist.
Yeah, she's an expert at
Poker.
I don't think I'll do that. But see how I led you? I led you perfectly. And the American comedian Reginald D. Hunter, or as I call him, Reginald.
Oh no! That's the only reason you're doing this show. So you can do it with him and play that.
Reginald D. Hunter. That'll give me an opportunity. I rarely have. Yes. So the 3 of us are in this house somewhere. We don't know where. Secret location. And that's it. So that's how I'm going to spend it. With I know Victoria a bit, but I don't know Reginald at all. So we might not even get on.
Do you all share a bed, like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears?
Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to. I don't think there's any bears involved. That would be terrible. But it's an interesting experiment. I'll be honest with you. I did the pilot.
Oh, okay.
They do a pilot, like a tryout.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
And I did that. And then they put us in a house that was me and Miranda Hart and Katie Brand, and they put us in a house that was, the 2 girls claimed was haunted. Right?
I thought they were ghosties.
Yeah, they said that they had, they heard things and felt cold tremors in the night. So in the end, I stopped. I thought they're on to me. No, but... yeah, they took it very seriously, the ghost. They said there was an extension built on this place. It was like a big mansion somewhere in, I don't know, Leicestershire or something. Hard to imagine, I know, but apparently they do exist. And we spoke to the cleaner woman who came in, the housekeeper, and she said, I won't go in that end extension. I won't even go in there. she said after they built that, she said Martin was in there, because we didn't know who Martin was, but we didn't want to. She said, and a man appeared and said, "Oh, I like what you've done with this." And I thought, what is a gay ghost has turned up? A ghost turns up and comments on the extension. So anyway, hopefully they won't send us there again.
And at the end, did you say, "Oh, the cleaner told us about the ghost," and said, "Oh, there hasn't been a cleaner here for 40 years.
I love
He died in a horrible accident."
I love it in films when they go into the pub and say, "Does this symbol mean anything to you?" And the girl says, "Oh, that be the... Karen! I think you got work in the cellar again." It'll be like that. It'll be like that. I'm playing the investigating man. Reginald D. Hunter will be the bar manager. Victoria Corrin will play the bewildered.
She can be the wench behind the bar.
Yeah, we've got it all worked out. But so when I'm on the show next week, you'll probably mention things that have happened in the news, and I'll just look at you like, I'm stupid. So bear that in mind.
That's usually my job.
Yeah. Oh, no. I love you, Gareth.
Oh, thank you.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Now, apparently there's a new taste. Yeah, now, I don't quite understand this. Is it Japanese?
It's the 5th. It's called taste number 5. It's called umami.
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 Wait, a secret door just opened when you said that word?
Oh.
It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, look at that sofa.
They're calling it the scientifically proven 5th taste. Yeah.
Scientifically proven.
So basically, no one's ever tasted anything like this before.
Exactly. And we're going to taste it now.
Okay, we've got
I don't want to taste it first, Frank, you taste it first. It's scaring me.
So 5th taste, as in there's bitterness. What are the other tastes? There's tastes already.
That'd be a good phone in. What are the tastes?
Bad taste. Oh, yeah, so
Frank,
sweet, sour...
horrible.
There's already the sweet sour.
Salty and bitter.
So this is going to be neither sweet, sour, salty nor bitter. I'm
No,
just putting
because
some
it's
on my
umami.
finger.
Oh,
Okay.
Frank, it looks disgusting. Oh, my God.
I'm going to go
oh,
for it,
God,
right? This is... I'll never taste... This is a new experience for me.
Okay.
And you get to my age, you don't say that very often.
What's it like?
It's like chicken. No, it isn't really. That's what everyone says. I feel I have tasted it before.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a taste. Let me see.
It's nice, though. It's got that kind of thing that when you have sort of Oriental food, it basically tastes like Chinese food.
Can I try it with pan au chocolat? That
No,
that's
you
not
can't
a
try
good
with pan
idea.
au chocolat. You don't want to mix your 5th taste with your old tastes.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh, it's a bit anchovic.
There is an element of anchovy
Yeah.
about it.
Oh.
Where's the ingredients? What are the ingredients?
Anchovies, probably.
Yeah, there's
Anchovies.
anchovies in it. I'm not sure about that umami, Frank. to be
Well,
honest.
I'm liking the umami. I'd happily have it on a. I might put some on my pan au chocolat and mix the French with the Japanese, as I think the French call the Japanese. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's another phone in. I don't know how you're going to do pronunciation on a text, but,
Absolute Radio.
Sean Locke has joined us in the studio. What about that? Yes, that Sean Locke, the famous one off the telly. How are
Morning.
you? Good
Very
morning.
good, thanks, Frank.
Good. Now, you're about to go off on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get straight to that.
Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, it's not a normal stand-up comedy show, is it? It's got a sort of special element, interactive kind of.
Oh,
it's 21st century.
Yes, well, at the start, it did. Well, it was like that.
Oh, that's gone, has it?
No, it hasn't gone, but what I've realised is I've had to, there's a reason it works in a certain way, stand-up. And what I did was I had this thing, I called it Lockopedia, just only because it rhymed. It's not an information
It
resource.
doesn't actually rhyme, does
Well,
it?
it does with Wikipedia. Not rhyme, scans.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sounds a bit like, is what
Sounds
I
a
mean.
bit like.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Rhymes as a catch-all for me. I use it for loads of things. If I see a dress on my wife, I like it. That rhymes.
I like that. That's a good, because it just suggests a harmony, generally.
Yeah. You were talking about those flavours earlier.
Yeah.
Certain flavours rhyme with each
Yeah.
other. But obviously,
That one didn't,
No,
actually.
Stephen Fry would be obviously tearing his hair out. But I had this element in it where I thought, I've got this book. Basically, I had all these jokes, these strands of
Have you
ideas.
ever seen Chicopedia, by the way?
No.
Chickopedia is
I'm
like...
sure I can imagine. I don't need to explain that.
Okay.
As soon as you've mentioned...
But that actually
especially
does
coming
rhyme.
from you.
But it does rhyme, to their credit.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. But the idea was I had all these jokes and these ideas, but I couldn't really put it into a stand-up format. It was the effort to take to set them up. You know when you've got like a comic idea and it takes too long to set up for its value. But they were funny little ideas. I thought I'd put them in this book alphabetically, list them. And then I play audience battleships at a point in the show. So I'll just go, E24! I go, who's ever in that seat has to give me their name, a letter, and a word beginning with that letter. And that's the difficult bit. That's the really tricky bit. Because what I say is, I'll do some material on that word. And of course I can't. You know, it's... I'd be a genius if I could do that.
You are a genius.
Yeah, but I'm not. I've realised that. That's very much... But the fun of it is it gets people involved in the show that would never normally shout out. Because it's random. Because I sort of select it by this method. And it kind of changes. What I do at the end of the first half and the end of the second half, really, now.
Right.
So I have the structure stand up. And it's just a way of sort of like churning up the gig a bit. And it's quite interesting. Sometimes
it shows great confidence that you're going to sell out as well.
Yes.
Because you could say that, and the
But that's
person
funny,
in E20... Oh, there is no way
the audience find that hilarious.
Oh,
That's
do
great
they?
with that. I was in Bromsgrove, and it did sell out, but there was people who didn't turn up for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah.
I assume babysitters.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe road accident.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to guess there.
No.
I was going on the... I always have a light entertainer. and that happened, and it's really funny. So, yes, it does. There is that element to it, but it sort of works. People like the oddness of it, in the fact that people get involved who never normally get involved in shows.
Yeah.
And you get stuff out of them. But what I did was, originally, I had this grand idea that would be the whole show. And it was chaos. Chaos reigned. I tried that a couple of times. I did a sort of mini warm-up tour, small art centres and theatres. I can't just launch this idea into larger theatres. And I slowly reduced the Lockopedia element, but it's still part of the show.
Yeah.
But it doesn't dominate the whole show now, because...
you can't do it.
You can't do it. You can do it, but you need 3-4 goes before you can do it.
Yeah, okay.
And it's quite nice, that sort of element of failing. People aren't used to seeing comedians get up stage and attempt something and fail. And I didn't have any...
They are at my gigs.
Yeah. But I didn't have any get-out clauses, but I've sort of created get-out clauses now. So I fail, but I still get a laugh on the failure. And
So the idea... Let me get this right again. They give you a letter and a word that begins with that letter.
So it's about how tricky the audience want to be. Like, I did one in Colchester, and someone shouted out P, the letter of P. So I've got a book, and I've got, under P, I've got loads of jokes associated with P words. And then he shouts out word beginning with P, and he said penultimate. So it'd be impossible to do a joke on penultimate, but I sort of extricated something out of it. I salvaged something. It's just about the oddness of the scenario as well, and the strange. It's basically to keep me interested.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our phone-in. Jokes about the word penultimate is what we want. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Absolute
Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, with Gareth, and most excitingly of all, with Sean Locke. In fact, you've got the ultimate accolade, Sean, in that they're filming this interview as we speak.
Really?
Not many people get that.
Really?
That's because you're going to go on the website
honour.
And stuff. Yeah,
Really?
it is. It
I'll
shows
be all
that
over it.
you've made it. Don't worry about
He's
that.
made an effort with his clothes, I see.
I love your jumper.
Thank you.
Because it's black, and then it's got, in really hard to see places, it's got a patch of
No,
other coloured wool.
Dirt.
Well,
I was thinking, I hope Gareth doesn't bring up the dirt.
Pay a premium for that.
Yeah, it looks
sort
like...
of thing my dad or my gran would have gone, that's bloody ridiculous. What? You buy a jumper, it's already been packed. That is insane.
Well, it's like buying ripped jeans. It is. I hadn't even noticed
It's
that.
nice.
I
It's
like
a
it.
nice jumper. They are nicely done.
It looks a bit like you might have thought you were buying a black jumper and then got it home.
Yeah, I
'Cause
didn't
it's quite
realise
hidden,
the
isn't it?
degree
Yeah,
that
it's
they've gone
brilliant.
to the detail. But,
I like a surprise element when you're buying a jumper.
Yeah.
There isn't enough of that.
What?
I used to sleep on your. I used to sleep at your house. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Some sort of
Well,
lodger
he was a tramp.
scenario.
I was a priest. He was a tramp.
Yeah, and in many ways you saved my life, Father. Oh, so you said don't call you that anymore.
Yeah.
No, when I was living in Birmingham and coming down to London to do gigs, I didn't really know anyone in London apart from other comedians I'd met. So Sean used to let me sleep at Dalston, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. Was that the one? Was that the flat with the bathroom in the hallway?
I never went in the bathroom, I don't think.
They had a bathroom in the hallway. It was a 2-bedroom flat. It wasn't really. It was a 1-bedroom flat, but they decided to take the bathroom out of the bathroom and put it in the hallway. And it had like this folding door down the side. But yeah, you used to stay a few times. Didn't you?
I remember you took me to the cemetery one day for a bit of a treat.
Yes.
Do you remember that? It was
It's a very nice cemetery.
It's a great cemetery.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were dropping hints.
Yeah.
Why don't you sleep here? Forever! No, it was a very
Stoke
nice...
Newington, Abley Cemetery at the bottom of the road, Casenoff Road. It's a sort of quite a famous cemetery.
Can I just say, you're the first guest. We've been on nearly a year. You're the first guest that's plugged the cemetery. Who's in it? Who's in it that's any good? In that
No, there's
cemetery?
it's not like Highgate. It hasn't got many famous. It's got people
That's
like
very A-list one,
Salvation
though,
Army
Highgate.
people in there.
Salvation
A few-
Army people.
A few of those, because I think it started around that part of London. But it's just got some very nice Victorian graves. You know, when they really went over the top, when a sort of daughter died, they really went for it.
Yeah.
With angels and things.
Yeah.
And lions and stuff.
Yeah.
Not a cheery subject. But it's a beautiful cemetery. And it has a weird sort of... Whereas Highgate is very well patrolled, very well marshalled. It's got this element surprise nutter. You don't know what's going to happen. It's really overgrown. There's some...
Oh,
and
it's
there's-
like... Yeah, it's...
There's a bit of off-road activity going up one end corner of it. You just don't go up there.
You're making it sound like a death theme park. Anything could happen. So you're abroad this week.
Yes, yeah. Well, you asked me if I was doing anything else apart from the tour, and I said, well, I'm doing a corporate in Munich.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you thought, obviously we're not going to talk about that on air, but I'm fascinated.
Yes.
There'll be people listening who don't know what a corporate is.
Yes.
Could you define it?
It's a private gig for a company, usually a company, for the staff of a company, or often they're having a conference. It's a way they had a whole day of business chat, and they bring in a cheeky chappie at the end of the day.
That's it. And then they usually have a disco, don't they, at the end, and people dance in suit and tie.
I don't stick around for that.
No, I never stick around for that. Not now I've got a girlfriend.
Yeah, but you have to. I find that I quite enjoy them, the odd ones, and I've got quite a lot of material out because you have to write something for them for each one.
Do you get that? They used to send me these lists, and they'd say, "Oh, Dave in sales once stole a plant from a hotel foyer when he was drunk."
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do a joke about it. You'd say, "It's Dave here from sales. Stay off the plans tonight." You get a standing ovation.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the best thing they've ever heard.
I know, yeah. I don't tend to do that. I remember you get those lists, and basically they describe the presenters. Every single person who works in the company is like could be a presenter on Top Gear. That's usually what he goes. Loves cars.
Exactly.
Loves wearing his jeans. Loves going out, having a bit of an adventure.
I used to get things like, sadly, he's a West Ham fan. You know, I used to get that, so obviously you're encouraged to have a go at him.
I never do that. I just do some stuff about whatever the product is or whatever the company is. I did a lot of financial ones. During the last, just coming up to the last.
So you
end
did
of
a lot
the
of
year.
banker jokes.
Yeah, a lot of banker jokes. Which is great. You can be really horrible to them.
I did
It's
one
not really
once.
what you paid to do.
Yeah, I did one with Red Rom. It's just me and Red Rom on the bit. You know Red Rom, the racehorse? Not the other Red Rom.
Yeah.
And Red Rom, the racehorse, turned up, and people stood and had their photo took with him. And then I was ready to do like 20 minutes of stand-up. But they just wanted me to stand and have my photo took with them as well. So me and Red Rum basically had the same job of having our photo took with people.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'll do... They said, you can do a bit of stand-up if you like. So I went and did like 10 minutes and it went all right.
Yeah.
Red Rum didn't do anything.
No.
Didn't even speak.
Frank, Darryl Brown has just texted in saying, could Frank mention he has a girlfriend one more time, please?
Now that sounds like a man who maybe doesn't have a girlfriend, or if he has got one, her head's in the fridge. No, I think I'm sorry. It's Valentine's weekend, mate. I don't normally mention it that much, but it's Valentine's weekend. The love is in the air.
Well, isn't it time to turn that girlfriend into a wife?
Okay, here comes the next track.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
And that was Sean Locke's Gone Home now. Even though people did send in some penultimate jokes. Was there any good ones?
The penultimate supper, someone texted in, which I quite like.
I'd like to have been at the penultimate supper. You'd be a bit aggrieved that you hadn't been invited to the last one. Yeah, I'm at the penultimate. Oh, you're at the penultimate. I'm at the
It's like when you get invited to a wedding, not the actual thing, but just come and
Just
then
come to the
you
party
leave.
after.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate it when I get
You're
those.
basically there as sort of Atmos.
Yeah, you're second wave. You don't ever want to be second wave.
No, that's a good joke, though. I like that joke. By the way, Absolute Radio have got Premier League football commentaries next season.
I'm going to be doing them.
No, they're already done.
Oh,
I've heard some of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Arsenal lose 2-0 at home in the first game. Who'd have thought that?
Well,
Someone has scored a goal.
I can do those because I went to the football this week, actually.
Oh, you did, yes.
I got bought a box. Yes, that's the kind of gifts I get bought by my
What to
friends.
stand on?
What was in it?
No, an orange box. No, a friend bought me, a very generous friend, bought me a box for the Arsenal-Liverpool game. Those are the kind of gifts I expect.
Yeah.
Thanks for the scrunchie, Frank. I'm just saying that that's
At
where
least
the
I know
bar is
it'll be
raised to.
used. Oh, is that scrunchy? I thought it was your throat. So you went to Arsenal versus Liverpool?
I did. It was amazing. I took Daisy from the show. She begged. Frankly, she did beg.
You took Daisy, our associate producer.
I did. Well, I asked you.
Tight here.
I asked you, and you said I'm a lousy neutral.
Yes, I am a lousy neutral. I don't like watching teams who I don't care about.
And you're a bit jealous of our ground, I reckon, because it is quite nice. Anyway,
I don't care about that.
so the box, though.
It's
Oh
not
my
that
god!
nice. It must be rubbish ground if the manager has got a restricted view seat. Every time Arsene Wenger, they say, "What do you think of that thing when your defender broke the legs of 3 successive opponents?" And he goes, "Well, I could not see from where I was sitting." Well, what kind of seat have you got?
He doesn't come out of his technical area. It's not his way.
I tell you what, I reckon he once got very, very drunk, right? And he fell asleep with the lower part of his face resting on the top of a pint glass. And consequently, he's got a kind of Fred Flintstone, like that circle around his mouth. Anyway, sorry.
So I saw some celebs next to my box.
Oh, you would
who'd
be
you see?
Arsenal.
Who'd you see?
Well, walking up, I saw Gary Barlow with his son.
Okay,
and he
from
knocked.
Coronation Street.
No, from
Okay.
Take That.
Okay.
And he
Yeah,
knocked
see,
rather
Take
tentatively on the
That.
box door, and outside I saw a little plaque and it said Ian Wright Associates. So the door was opened, and someone from Ian
I
Wright
didn't know he ran a
Associates.
solicitors.
Oh, yeah.
Well, someone from Ian Wright Associates opened the door, and the boxes are all quite normal and quite corporate with sort of office furniture.
Yeah.
Ian Wright, he sort of pimped his out. It's all kind of like Victoriano and a mahogany
brilliant.
table.
Oh, fantastic.
I thought there'd be like a stuffed animal or something in there. It was unbelievable, yeah.
Oh, I'm loving that.
And then on my left, I had Gary
Has he got
Barlow.
fluffy dice hanging from the window? I'm guessing.
And then on my left was Michael Howard. Do you remember him? The former Conservative leader?
Who's got something of the night
Something
about
of
him.
the night.
Him, exactly. Well, he had something
That's
of the
it,
night
though,
about him.
with
That was-
Arsenal. It's not like a
Wearing
football
armour.
match. It's like an audience with. You don't get that at West Brom. You get the dustman. Anyway, thank you very much, and good day to you.
Absolute
Radio.